I unlocked a new species and a lot of cosmetics in my playthrough of Bobo Bay's playtest. Let's go through the highlights together. I started with my first Bobo, which I named Sandy. Sandy is a hustler of D grade, and it started with the least possible potential. Even though we see stats like run and acceleration in the red, this was actually a good thing because I could train it and shape it however I liked. I started by competing in trials on day 1, and because it is a hustler, even after losing, it could continue to compete, and I attempted even a saga brawl right away to help improve its stat points. During the night, I encountered another hustler Bobo, which I named Electro because of its yellow skin and blue stripes. Because I had 2 hustlers, I could compete in most of the trials during the day and night, and I focused on improving these 2 Bobos as much as possible. Here, we can see Electro stats before and after a brawl and how some of its stats like the run, climb, and stamina have improved. Bobo Bay is more than just competitions. One key aspect is of course the cosmetics. So when I found this straw hat, I had to give it to Sandy, and then I combined it with these red sunglasses to make it the ultimate beach Bobo. As part of my duty to take care of it, I made sure to check in Docco and scan my Bobos, and I found that Sandy had a humble trait of bad luck, while Electro had a slow to start. These humble traits have small impact in the races, but it gives them more personality. On day 10, after having trained Sandy a bit, I decided to give it the strength juice. The strength juice give it an improvement in strength just for the day, and that is what I needed to enter the Beast Star Saga. In the first race, Sandy smashed through the black breakable boards and got our first saga victory. Because it's a hustler, it could continue right away into a brawl against Crouch, and despite being a close match, Sandy was victorious. The final opponent was Bob the Beazle and the lava race, where Sandy had to carry rocks for almost 3 minutes, but it kept winning. As a reward, we unlocked the Phantom species, and in fact we got our very own Phantom seedling. Phantoms then started to appear in our world as opponents as well as in the forest. After 2 days, our first Phantom seedling had grown into a Bobo. It was a gummy trait Easter, but the most exciting were the flames on its boots. I really wanted to start crossbreeding Phantoms with the nature Bobos, so I bought the masher from Judd's shop, and all I needed was an adult Phantom species. One of our Bobos, Gumba, started to draw myself, Parfait, and I thought that was cute. But even cuter is Bitsy Betsy, our next Bobo. Because I had a chocolate donut, I had to experiment, and what it did is change its color to a darker stone within that layer. So instead of yellow, now we have a burnt orange Bitsy Betsy. Things got a little more ridiculous when I found these pumps for $699 in town. That was an expensive deal, but it was worth once I saw these tiniest feet ever. That's hilarious. And even more hilarious is when we put Bitsy Betsy into her first brawl against Cheese Snack because she was so tiny. Cheese Snack could have worn her as a backpack. Bitsy Betsy had to slay even more when we gave her this blue scarf. I'm like, this is the most gorgeous Bobo ever. And to win my heart even more, Bitsy Betsy put out a mini guitar, which in her hand is a mini guitar, and started to play music for us. As I was then exploring the town, I noticed Samson in the adoption center, but I did not have enough money. So I headed to the trials and put Powder, our best swimming Bobo, to win a swimming race. And after having won, I had enough money to adopt Samson. Because Samson was our first fandom adult, I decided to give it the masher right away and breed it with one of our Bobos. In the following days, I continued to experiment with more mashing, so I gave this Red Riding Hood and this toast with dog ears a mash session. I had Blaze grow up after having a vanilla donut, so it was pretty different looking. I mashed Bitsy Betsy with the adult Blaze. I gave a vanilla donut to Ursula, our axolotl Olympic swimmer. And in few days we started seeing the results of our breedings and new species, such as this long-stride lavender phantom, as well as this lavender nature Bobo. Despite all new Bobos, something was definitely wrong with Samson when he did not want to wear the pixel glasses anymore. The next day I figured out why. Samson has turned into a Bobo Sprout. I could have left it there to become a permanent flower, but I decided to pluck it and give Samson a second chance as a seedling. 2 days later, we had a baby Samson. Because it had grown from a sprout, it increased its grade from D to C, our first C grade Bobo. At this point, our Bobos have been trained to perform very well and excel at their specialty. Most noticeably is Powder, our best swimmer. When it hits the water, it goes zooming with a clear chance of winning. I had to finish the game by giving Sandy the last brawl. After winning, we just hung out in our Bobo Bay, where it continued to play music and I took photos of all my Bobos. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe as I'll be posting more videos as Bobo Bay approaches to full release.